be watching more Parz.
I can fix your fear of snakes with this ridiculous creature.
Well, why it look like that? It looks so cute. Pet empty, no thoughts.
No, that is not a snakeskin sock puppet. That is an actual, real animal on this planet, and it's called the Arabian sand boa.
Is it because there's a lot of sand that its eyes needs to be like that?
And you may be wondering, why does he look like that?
It's cute.
Well, no. As much as it looks like it, God did not design this thing in the Spore Creature Creator after 10 fucking beers. No, it looks like a strand of spaghetti with googly eyes for camouflage. So, I'm going to give you exactly one guess as to where an animal called the Arabian sand boa is found.
Well.
That's right.
Yeah.
The deserts of the Arabian Peninsula. If you got that wrong, I don't know what to fucking tell you, man.
I mean, like, wow, that's totally new information. The name of the snake totally didn't give it away. Yeah, totally. New info, yeah.
You stupid.
They're not.
And in order to survive in that air fryer, the sock here needs two things. Food, and not to be turned into food. Which is rather hard, considering this is not a fucking danger noodle, okay? This is a defenseless noodle. It is only 15
it's not an attacker.
inches long. It has no venom and the bite of an old lady without her fucking dentures in. So how does it survive? Simple. Digs a fucking hole like a Night 1 Minecraft player. See, they're nocturnal, so during the day, they bury themselves completely in the sand, which allows them to take a nice little nap without getting snatched up by a fucking bird. Then, once night falls, those fuck-ass eyeballs finally serve a purpose beyond looking ridiculous. And that purpose is to sit just above the sand like a submarine periscope and scan for food. They then...
So I'm guessing there's something protecting its eyes from getting sand inside it. Or it just doesn't care.
Just wait for a mouse or lizard to get close before this vicious creature...
Why does this feel like the Pog face?
Pops out of the sand like the worms from June and eats it. I'm sorry, I find the idea of this stupid fucking snake killing anything so funny. Like, just imagine the last fucking thing you see before ascending to the pearly gates is fucking that.
That's so... I mean, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, great, I died to something that looked like this. Just great.
Did you know that whales can explode?
Yeah.
Yeah, these bad boys can turn themselves into an all-natural IED, but they can't explode on command like a creeper. No, in order to pull or explode, it needs to be fucking dead first.
Yeah.
In fact, it's got to die in a very specific way. See, usually, when a whale carks
I did not know.
that fucker sinks like a stone and gets hoovered up by bottom feeders. But if it manages to wash up on shore, or it dies by beaching itself, there's nothing to eat it. No, what that house-sized corpse does do is sit there, frying in the fucking sun, starting to rot.
That's kind of sad.
Now, a fun fact about rotting corpses, they go through this cool process called putrefaction. Basically, all the bacteria in your gut start to break down your flesh, which produces a shitload of different gases. And if nothing punches a hole in the whale, that gas has nowhere to go.
And it's very dangerous.
Corpse begins to swell and inflate like a fucking balloon.
Oh, I didn't know I had that mod on.
And it will fill with gas until its body can't fucking take it anymore, at which point it basically becomes a fucking boomer from Left 4 Dead.
We got a boomer!
The force of the gas can cause the skin to split and then Free Willy explodes all over the fucking beach, but anyone touching it could cause it to explode as well. Which is why if you see a whale corpse on the beach, whatever you do, do not fucking touch it. I just told you, don't fucking touch it.
Haha, I will. It reminds me of a recent whale washed ashore over here. There's a recent one during March. How big is it? Obviously, I am taller than a 3-meter long juvenile whale. Obviously. Anyways, continue the story. Before it was unalive, people spotted it multiple times near the shallow waters. The authorities tried to get it back to the ocean, but it keeps on coming back to the shallow waters. So they thought it likely suffered some injuries or maybe just fatigue, like chronic fatigue. RIP whale, hope you have fun in whale heaven. Swim through the sky and spit out whale waters towards Earth. What is whale water? I do not know.
Explode. This pigeon saved an entire army battalion.
Heroes never die.
Introducing our protagonist, Jeremy, a carrier pigeon who was
Jeremy.
in the employ of the US Army Signal Corps during World War I. You see,
No, Jeremy.
back in the oldie times, radio technology was, kind of dog shit. So carrier pigeons were still the meta for DMing the homies memes over
Oh
distance.
yeah, of course.
Which is how, in 1918, our feathered little shock trooper here ended up in France, with 500 US soldiers stuck 3 kilometers behind enemy lines, completely cut off from supply and reinforcement in a 7-day shootout. You see, Jeremy's
Damn.
battalion, juiced up on freedom and red crayons, had overextended and become
crayons.
trapped, surrounded on all sides by German soldiers.
It looks so smug. I love it.
Surrounded on all sides by German soldiers. And to make matters worse, being stuck behind enemy lines meant they were now on the receiving end of US defense spending, being absolutely hammered with friendly artillery. Now, stuck as far away as they would have had more luck using their radio as fucking nunchucks than a comms device. So they began sending out carrier pigeons in an attempt to tell command to stop fucking shelling them and help on the point. However, the Germans were having none of that shit and shot every single carrier pigeon the battalion sent out of the air like they were running an AIM Labs warm-up. Until only one remained, Jeremy. Desperate and rapidly running out of soldiers, the battalion wrote a message and attached it to Jeremy, sending him into the air and watching him sail above the trees. And just when they thought he was clear,
No!
some sweat on the German side nailed him. The battalion watched in horror as their last hope spiraled out of the sky. The bullet tore straight through Jeremy's center of mass, destroying one eye, punching a hole through his chest, and blowing off one of his legs. And this Giga Chad of an animal tanked it.
Whoa!
Do you have any ibuprofen? I got a headache.
The Marines watched in awe as this mangled pigeon picked itself out of the mud and managed to fly clear of German fire. Jeremy made it the whole way back to base, delivering the message and saving a total of 194 soldiers. Not only did he get the job done, but he lived. He was granted one of the highest military honors the French army could provide and sent into retirement with his trainer. And when he eventually did pass several years later, he was preserved and placed in the Smithsonian, where you can go see him today.
Oh.
There he is. Absolutely.
Why he's so thin? At least taxidermy him better.
See him today. There he is. Absolute legend. Dolphins get drunk. But why? Well, you see,
Just
the
like
dolphin
us.
is by far and away the smartest animal in the ocean. In fact, they're actually the second smartest thing on the planet, just behind you and me. This means they are smart
Probably
enough
no.
to understand that the ideal way to spend your night is more plastered than Chad and Max on your average Cold Ones episode.
Oh, it knows how to have fun and live the life. Holy sheesh. No, I don't really drink. I can't really drink. But I think that's how people say it.
There is just one problem. Last I checked, there's no bottle-o in Bikini Bottom. So how does a dolphin get fired for all? Simple.
2 shots
They
of
abuse
vodka.
pufferfish. You see, due to the lack of underwater alcohol, dolphins need to find other ways to get their fix, which is where SpongeBob's driving instructor comes in. You see,
I actually thought that it's humans that give it the vodka, but no, it has natural vodka.
pufferfish contain this really cool and totally not dangerous substance called tetrodotoxin. What is tetrodotoxin? You know,
glad you
it's only
asked.
one of the most potent natural neurotoxins on the fucking planet. This shit will freeze your heart and lungs in under an hour with a tiny dose. And it's the reason why cooking a pufferfish requires a dexterity check so you don't, hit the poison gland and get yourself deleted. Now, puffers carry this as a defense mechanism as poison accumulates in their organs and skin. Why is that important? Well, you see, I kinda lied. Dolphins don't get drunk. They get high on neurotoxin.
Oh,
¿Quieres?
Pods of dolphins will bully
And then-
pufferfish until they inflate, then partake in a literal puff pass. By lightly squeezing the puffer in their mouth, they receive a small dose of neurotoxin, which has a narcotic effect, allowing Flipper here to trip balls before passing the unhappy basketball onto the next
poor
submarine
thing.
stoner. Flipper and friends saw the deadliest neurotoxin on the planet and said, "Fuck it, let me try some of that."
he wants to try some of that. Let them have it.
This adorable little octopus is also the world's deadliest.
Yeah. I've watched like documentaries on this or YouTube videos on this.
Introducing the blue-ringed octopus, a species of cephalopod native to Australia, and in a shock to precisely 0 people at this point, it's venomous. Because of course it's f***ing venomous. Why wouldn't it be venomous? That'd make my life way too f***ing easy. Now, to its credit,
But that person just touched it.
unlike most of the toxic bullshit in this hellscape I call home, they at least have the common decency to be coloured like a fucking neon sign. However, it immediately loses this credit by being the octopus equivalent of a fucking hobbit, coming in smaller than a 50-cent coin.
Yeah, but
And
it's
this is a
toxic.
problem, because it is the most venomous octopus in the world. That's right, this fluoro spaghetti ball is packed to the brim with neurotoxin. More specifically, tetrodotoxin. You know, the
Again?
same shit that turns cooking a pufferfish into a quick time event. Yeah, these little guys are packing it too.
However, why did the dolphins just bully the pufferfish? Because it's bigger? Because they can see the pufferfish better?
Because it is Australian, the blue-ringed octopus is on violence timing and is the only animal in the world to use this as an offensive measure by way of a venomous bite. But what does the venom actually do? Well, imagine you're wading through the rock pools with the homies and you accidentally disturb this little gentleman's residence. The
How
blue
dare!
ring, taking the American approach to home defense, suctions onto your leg and bites you. Best
Oh,
part?
get off my lawn! Or I will bite you!
It's completely painless. So if you're distracted by how thick your mate's looking in those Speedos, you aren't going to feel shit. That is, until your face starts tingling like TV static. It's warm out here under the sun, but you weren't sweating like this 5 minutes ago, and now you got a headache. You start to feel sick, weak. You go to call out, but your voice comes out slurred like you just knocked back a bottle of vodka.
2 shots of vodka.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
And then suddenly, your legs come out from under you, and you hit the beach. Fun fact about tetrodotoxin. It's a paralytic. Freezes up your muscles one by one, starting with your arms and legs, which is why you're kissing the sand. You know what else is a muscle? Your diaphragm, the muscle that controls your breathing. And yeah, turns those bad boys off too. And so, your chest stops rising and falling, and you suffocate to death right there on the beach.
That's so fun! Wait, they don't even let me have time to register the bite. More like, you stand on my lawn? Death.
Now,
Beat.
you may be wondering, how come no one called an ambulance? That's easy. They didn't have time to. You went up to meet your
No.
ancestors in under 20 minutes. God ordered your ass
That's quite
with
long.
same-day shipping, and this little
Same-day
delivery
shipping.
employee of the month.
No!
Komodo dragons are horror villains. I mean, seriously, this industrial-sized lizard is easily one of the biggest assholes in the animal kingdom when it comes to...
Like, I don't know if it's the same Komodo dragon, the same dangerous Komodo dragon like this one, but we have a lot of big lizards. Even my school dorm before have a lot of these things walking around and fighting with each other. But I don't know if it's this kind of Komodo dragon. Or it's just harmless?
Hunting methods, packing a PhD in suffering and a double degree in biological warfare purely because they cannot be expending effort to hunt. You see, Godzilla's little cousin here is the largest lizard in the world, weighing up to 166 kilos and being a full 3.13 meters in length.
Damn, it's
which
so
means,
big.
for the short kings in my audience,
Yeah, ours is not that big. It's a little bit smaller. It's not that big.
if you're brave enough, bang a motor transport right there.
Now, being the reptile equivalent of a...
It's kind of tempting, you know?
Now, Komodo dragon needs to consume a lot of calories to keep that bulk going. However, rather than using that bulk to proactively chase down and body slam its prey, they can take down prey 3 times their size, because as if being a reptilian tank was not enough, they are also venomous. And this isn't just your run-of-the-mill snake venom that, you know, gives you a nice quick 15-minute death. No. A Komodo hunt starts with it running up to its prey and giving it a nice big chomp on the leg, injecting it with hemorrhagic venom.
After biting, the
Now you're
Komodo
bleeding.
dragon f***s off and just sits there watching.
The confused and bewildered animal runs off into the forest, leaking blood, allowing that Komodo dragon to track it like a DoorDash order. A week goes by,
GPS.
and that bite wound isn't closing because hemorrhagic venom prevents blood clots. So, the animal is still slowly bleeding out, and the Komodo is still watching. More time passes. That bite wound gets infected.
That's
because
evil.
Komodos are carrion feeders, meaning that the inside of their mouth is full of enough rotting flesh and bacteria to give Asmongold a run for his money. The infection begins to drain the animal's strength, and the Komodo is still watching. Another week passes. The infection has spread, and the flesh has begun to rot.
Well,
And you best believe that ass lizard is still there watching like he's waiting for his meal to heat up in the microwave.
why is it so long?
Once the bleeding, disease-ridden animal becomes too exhausted to move on its own and collapses,
Oh, it's
the
still alive.
Komodo
Holy.
strolls over and eats it alive, shredding it into
No.
chunks if it's larger,
Ay.
or if it's small enough, swallowing it whole as it screams on the way down. Even for me, man, that's fucked.
That's evil.